Hey everyone, it's Ashley from Upside Goods Candle Company, and I am touching base with you guys today on a topic that gets brought up a lot, and then I have actually gained so much experience with over the last few months since I've been in business. Just as a mile marker, it is August, almost September of 2021. I started my candle business in December of 2020. And my first wholesale order, which is what we're talking about, was placed at the end of January 2021. So I've got a little bit of experience under my belt and I've got so much farther to go, but wanted to share it with you guys nonetheless. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. I am a candle maker and I started my candle business in December of 2020, like I said. And I've really just been haphazardly taking you guys along with me. And when I say haphazardly, I watched a lot of YouTube videos when I started tinkering with candles and toying with the idea of starting a business with it. One day I just decided to make a video on the mistakes that I made in starting candles. And so I've just been taking you guys along with me ever since, because oddly enough, people are watching these videos, which is just mind-boggling to me. So yeah, I just want to keep going with it. I don't know what I'm doing out here. To give you guys additional context, for the last 6 years, I've been what I would probably call a serial entrepreneur. I started a mobile yoga studio here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I live. I have a freelance marketing company, and I became an Airbnb host along the way. So really just kind of piecemealing everything together here. But because of coronavirus and my yoga business, which was my main source of income, being sidelined in 2020, I decided to tinker with candles, like the majority of everyone watching these videos. I wanted to share with you guys today about some questions that I get asked or that I feel like I asked when approaching wholesale. And if you haven't taken a look at some of the other videos that I did one that is like, what is wholesale and what is private labeling? And then I also did one that was like, tips on how to approach wholesale. So that's meaning like if you're not sure how to even maybe start the conversation or anything like that, I'll touch a little bit on it on this video, but these are just more so like logistical questions and things like that with wholesale that'll hopefully, like, after watching those 3 videos, you guys will just like already have a sale in your pocket. Let's just put that out into the universe. The first question that I get asked, or that I had asked a lot, is like, what should be my minimum order quantity? And honestly, that's really going to be different for everyone. But for me, I wanted to make sure that it had enough skin in the game, but would also be something that a small business like myself would be able to afford. I personally do a $300 minimum order. And so they can mix and match between the sizes that I offer with wholesale. That doesn't have to be yours. Obviously, if it's a larger company, a chain store, something like that, like the $300 isn't really going to make a difference. But I had a list of businesses that I wanted to make sure my products were featured in their stores in my local market. And I felt like 300 was a good one. And I can honestly say I haven't had anyone scoff at that yet. I did have one company that's like probably 2 hours away from where I live reach out via Instagram. It didn't really feel like a serious inquiry to begin with, meaning that, I don't know, I just didn't get like a really good like belly vibe from it. Like my gut wasn't like, oh, this is something that I really need to pursue. So what I did is I told them the $300 minimum, and she was just like, that's ridiculous. And I was like, well, it didn't really feel right to begin with. So if anything changes, let me know. It's totally fair, and I give you permission right now that if you need to fire a wholesale client, you can. Ding. I wish there was like sound effects I could cue, like ding. Anyway, in regards to terms, that's another thing that I am actually still working on. So when I say terms, like payment terms would be one of them. And then terms around like a contract or anything like that that you might want to build into your wholesale agreement. Do as I say, not as I do here, guys. It's really, really always a good rule of thumb to have some sort of contract or paperwork or just some sort of email chain and proof behind the transaction that's happening. I know that some places, they absolutely require a contract to be signed with the terms of payment, everything like that. I haven't done that yet. And I'm scared a little bit, but I'm also like, I don't know, guys. I feel okay about the agreements that I have with the wholesalers that I have. So I don't know how to advise you guys on that, but I would say if the opportunity arises where you can have a contract or something binding in place, do that, especially with clients that you don't know. So like if you're shipping stuff and you haven't been paid yet or anything like that, like you definitely want to have like more safety practices to protect yourself as the vendor, because you have product and money and a bottom line that's already attached to it, and the wholesale client doesn't. To provide a little bit more context with that, all of my wholesale accounts right now are people that I have already known through my work in the community, that I have a relationship with or that I have found a relationship with. And we very much are like having conversations and laying things out ahead of time. And it has worked so far. Now, that's not to say that I am not planning. I am. That was really contradictory. I am planning going into 2022 to really change the way that I formulate each wholesale onboarding, upkeep, and maintenance with my clients, because it is a pretty big part of my business right now. My online sales, especially through the summer, have just been dog tired and quiet, and I don't even know dog tired what that means, but it haven't been good. Not to say the least. Like, it's been a little alarming. So wholesale has really kept me going, and markets, which I did another video on, so you guys can watch that at another time. But you can see how much I've made in markets, which I think is really fruitful and really important to know. Let's get back to it. Wrap up with the contracts and the terms. What I do is anytime that I have a new wholesale client come in, I let them know, I send an invoice the day that the thing is made, and it gives them 30 days to pay that. If it's a larger order, I request 50% upfront, especially for the first order. Meaning that if this is the first time that I'm working with them, I want to make sure that we get all of the accounting things whittled out, like whittled down, make sure that it's taken care of, and that I get paid, and that there's like no hiccups in the system of like, oh, your check's in the mail type of thing. When I deliver them, because I am hand delivering most of them because they are close to me, then I will get the remainder of that invoice at the time of delivery. It has worked for me. Not all of them are so carbon copy to that, but that is something that I would suggest to you guys. But honestly, you're the master of your own business. Like, that's why you created it. That's why they are contacting you about it. You can make whatever terms you want. You want to be paid 100% in full, sis? Then you put that on the time of arrival with that invoice and get paid before you make anything. It's kind of like, don't come at me if you don't agree, or you're going to put the fear of God in me that I might get screwed over at one point, because I'm already very aware of that. But this is something that's working for me in the setup that I have. Now, to be fair, I'm also on Fair and Abound. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm just like missing something with both of those, but I have had no sales on it. So I'm like a little confused about how that works. But I do know that they have net 30 payment terms, and a lot more of like that saves you in the event that something goes completely wrong. And I think there's like something in the terms or contract where the seller still gets paid. So maybe that's a way that you can do it without having to like get advice from like an attorney or a legal contract or things like that. I don't know. If you have more questions about that, leave them in the comments, and I'm happy to make another video to kind of divulge. I really can't find my words today. As far as stock and supplies, which is another thing that I see a lot of like questions about, or that I have had questions about. And honestly, I just started kind of letting that dissipate, because again, I'm in the driver's seat. Like, they are coming to me to purchase products that I am making. And so I really I tell every single wholesale client that I have, like, my goal here is to under promise and over deliver. The time that they reach out to me, whether it be for an initial order or a reorder, I'm very open about my timelines, because there is nothing worse than waiting or having a missed expectation. Trust me, my husband and I get in enough arguments about missed expectations all the time. So why would I pass that along to my wholesale clients? I just won't. So, and I find that they respect me quite a bit more for me saying, oh, this is going to be 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe even 5 weeks, because I need to order something, or there's some delays. I don't know, coronavirus and shortages and delays and everything are all a very real thing. I digress on that point, very dramatic. But as far as stock and terms of like supplies and things like that, I just always take an evaluation from the moment that that communication is happening between me and the wholesale client, and I let them know and adjust as such. It's really important for me to not have like text messaging conversations or things done through Instagram. I try and take everything through email because it's very easy to trace and to resend in the event that the other party or me forgot what was discussed and what was promised. In regards to supplies, I am starting to order more and more bulk, so it's not become such an issue. But maybe if you're just now starting and just having your first wholesale client, then you need to basically purchase the materials at the time of the payment, depending on your cash flow. So just let them know, look, here's what I have. Here's when it's supposed to be shipped. There are possible delays. And I feel like if you can lead with as much truth and like removing the curtain, drawing back the curtain as you can, everybody's going to be happy at the end of the day. The other question that I've had and I've seen a lot and what's worked for me is around delivery. All of my wholesalers, outside of like 3 of them, are within like a 10 to 20 minute drive. And so right now, as things stand, when I start up wholesale with everyone, I let them know I'm going to deliver it to you free of charge. I'm really in the stage where I want my name to get out there and where I want to make sure that I'm curating these relationships with my wholesale clients. So that's what's working for me. If it is something that is being shipped, I give them an estimate of the shipping charge at the time of the invoice, and I make it very clear to let them know that that is possible to change once I finally get everything packaged, put together. Maybe it's in split shipments, things like that, and I let them know that it is subject to change. Also let my wholesale clients know that delivery is subject to change as I start growing. And I haven't had anyone scoff at it yet, maybe because it's still free, but because I've let them know, like, look, I'm on a mission here to get these candles into as many places as I can, both near and far. And so as my time starts to shift, I will let you know if there are any changes in regards to cost or delivery availability. No one's had an issue with it. And honestly, you guys, just because wholesale's new to us doesn't mean it's new to the clients that we're working with. Most likely they deal wholesale all day long, all the time. And that's really like at the crux of their business. So I'm pretty sure that anything that we're passing along to them hasn't been said or heard before. All right, the 2 other things that I wanted to share with you guys are kind of like my bonus tips, and not necessarily like questions, but things that I'm finding that work really well. And like I said in the beginning, with like the terms and conditions and payment and stuff like that we've talked about with wholesale, relationships are absolutely key. So my wholesale clients are a mix of people who have reached out to me and people who I've reached out to. And I think that there are a lot of business practices that are like being completely diluted because of social media. So if you staunchly disagree with me on this, that is totally fair. Just don't give me a thumbs down because it's just my opinion and something that I have found that has worked for me. Relationships are absolutely key. So if it's a local business that you're trying to get your candles into or your product into, go to that business. Talk to them like human beings, face to face, and let them know your story. Let them know why you ended up at their store. Let them know why you think that your product, candles, might be a good fit in their business. Ask who the purchaser is. Ask who the person in charge is that makes the buying decisions, and just start to organically let that conversation go as it needs to. They might tell you, oh yeah, they're in the back. Let me go get them. They come out, you talk to them. It is sales at the end of the day. And if you're running a candle business, especially out of your home, you have to wear these different hats. You have to be the salesperson. You have to be the marketer. You have to be the candle maker. You have to be on janitorial duty. You have to be the inventory control person. You have to be the shipper, which this is my makeshift ship station here. It's very fancy. So what we need to do is we need to be ready to talk to the person that owns the business, talk to the person that buys for the business, and let them know why we would love to have our candles in their shop. And then follow up as such. You guys, we need to be letting them know that we are going to be reliable and dependable, because if they're stocking our products on their shelves, they're taking a big trust leap. So we really need to make sure that we're curating these relationships, that we're under promising and over delivering, that we're giving them timelines, expectations. All of the things need to be done up front, and they need to be handled and somewhat of an uncomfortable conversation at times. It doesn't have to be, and the more you have it, it won't be uncomfortable, I promise you. They have these conversations all the time, and so you're gonna be respected more if you have all of your ducks in a row on what to expect, what you need, and what you hope to bring to them in their business. Relationships are key. So handle it as such, professionally, confidently, and know that you've got this, you guys, I promise. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is, and I mentioned it before, emails are really, really important because that allows you to have some sort of chain of conversation and things to fall back on. Like when you start getting more wholesale orders, you might start to forget, okay, what day does this need to be delivered? What day did I promise this? So on and so forth. Emails are a really good way to do that. But another thing that I'm actually starting to do just as of today is, you guys know I love email marketing. And so in my email provider, just lost my thoughts there, which is MailChimp, I'm creating a segmentation of my wholesale clients. And what I'm going to do is announce to them what new scents are coming, when they're available. Remind them of like deadlines, especially for the holidays. It's not so much something that I've run into for the past 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. I don't even know where I'm at anymore. 10 months, I think, is where I'm at. I haven't run into it as much for that, but for holiday, there's going to be deadlines. There's going to be shipping deadlines. There's going to be stock issues. So I'm really trying to communicate all of that ahead of time so that I can manage my wholesale clients as well as keep the wheels on the bus for my online clients and markets. So I'm really going to start to email just my wholesale clients at least once a month. One, to just check in on them and hopefully get some responses from them. Have you received any customer feedback? How are sales going? Do you need to place a repeat order? So on and so forth. I'm really excited about this, probably because I love email marketing just as much as, like, I don't know, some people like sliced bread. I don't know if that's a good example, but I love email marketing. That's my point. And so what I'm really trying to do is not only curate an experience for my customers that shop online, but curate an experience for my wholesale clients to let them know, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you, and let's get ahead of this together and work as like a partnership rather than there's just this exchange of like, hey, do you need to reorder? And not let them know of like things that are up and coming or that I'm working on. The questions that I felt like were like at the forefront of my mind when I first started approaching and working through wholesale clients. So I hope that these are valuable to you guys. If they're not, or maybe you have more questions, leave them in the comments below, and then maybe I'll make a like part 2 of this video. But I do see so many candle makers and product owners and business owners and blah, 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 all the things. I'm just word spewing now. I see so many of us have these questions about wholesale. So I really, really hope that this provides a little bit of context. And again, taking you guys along on this journey with me of just sharing with you very authentically and openly about things that I have run into, whether they're roadblocks, successes, or anything in between. So if you guys want to join the Candle Collective, it's a Facebook group and email list where I let you guys know of any up and coming videos that I've got, get a little bit of insider input as well so you guys can have a direct communication with me. And also if you're looking for one-on-one help, I have 30 for 30. $30 for 30 minutes. And we basically go through all the things that are keeping you up at night. And I share my advice, opinion, or feedback. Or if I don't have any of the above, I just kindly let you know. It's meant for you guys to reduce overwhelm and just clear the way so that you can kind of get out of your own way. And by kind of, I mean get out of your own way and get some things done to launching your business, growing your business, or anything in between. If you guys haven't already subscribed to this channel, I would absolutely be delighted if you did and you found this valuable. Give me a thumbs up and let me know. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great rest of your day.